Hey guys, welcome. It is Tuesday, April 21st, another Hot Topic Tuesday. And today it was one of those that I will tell you, 5 o'clock yesterday, I did not know what to do until I called you and I said, hey, what do you think about this? But truly, a hot subject matter right now is listings are not all that common and are difficult to come by. And often what we find ourselves into is a competitive situation where now all of a sudden I got to take a look at what is my presentation? How am I going to get these sellers to buy into me versus the competition that I'm competing with? How do I get that to happen? And and here's many of you. Are you talking price? Do this. And if you talk price, are you telling them what they want to hear or are you telling them what they need to hear? One will get you the listing and a whole lot of headaches. But if we do it right in that competitive situation, then we're going to be able to actually get the listing. And it's part of one of the things we're going to talk about is how to get the seller to tell you a realistic, competitive asking price, but to get the seller to tell you that. And if you could do that, that would be awesome.
Which really he's saying this is a 30-minute commercial for the listing boot camp that's coming up.
And this is just a wee portion of it, but you got to know the whole thing.
Yep.
That's a good segue, buddy.
Yeah. And to start off, Darwin and I actually kind of got into this before the show started. That part of what this starts with is what are your intentions with that meeting, right? Oops,
I got it.
let's just get rid of it. It's not, I'm going to knock it over again. Right. It's understanding where these sellers or potential sellers are in the process, pre-qualifying, consulting, right? So we were just kind of going back and forth on this, that you can even be going into different styles of appointments.
Yeah, we were talking, well, here, steps versus stops.
Right.
Is a one stop or is a two stop? When I do meet with the seller, for what purpose am I meeting with them? So we need to know and figure that out going in prior to. But today, the part that we really want to focus on, and this is something that you and I talked about this about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Where it was like, but what if they're in that situation where they know they're in competition? Here's the question. What makes you different? What makes you better than the competition that they're also interviewing? And so that's really what we wanted to talk about today.
And really, I actually think so this start from me coming up in a relocation background, I kind of had to deal with competitive listings pretty quickly. But that unique question of what is different about you specifically than any other agent. We were in a Dale Carnegie class with Mark Wills.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 2 years ago.
Yep.
For those of you who were there at C21 Rochester, and that was one of the questions he asked is, because I can tell you how the brokerages are different, right? I can tell you about C21, I can tell you about CB, I can tell you how they're different than any other brokerage, but I had a little bit of a trouble saying, well, what's different about me than Sally or me than Renee? Right. So that was something I had to do a lot of thinking about. So that I think is a question that's going to be left to you guys as far as you versus even some of your colleagues there. But what I like to do is, especially when we're teaching new agents, is to lean on the brand and the brand tools that have been given to you. So it doesn't really matter what experience you have. If you've been in the business for 50 years or 50 minutes, that you can go in and you should be able to go in and probably beat an experienced agent. One of our new agents, there should be no reason why they can't beat an experienced agent from another broker.
Absolutely right. You know, Sally and I were talking about an hour ago, and we were talking specifically about this and in the importance of your ability to sell your value. Mm. But what is it that you bring personally and professionally in the brand What do you bring to the table that's going to separate you from the competition? As a matter of fact, it's the process, it's the tools. Are you giving something? Are you leaving something behind? All of this is something that you need to know about. And again, I'm going to have a panel of experts for a portion of this for the listing mastery course. So again, this is a small portion and just one of those that is going to get you thinking in advance. What makes you different? What makes you better? What's going to make this seller more money? So is that kind of the overview to it?
And I actually, I think that one of the things you brought up was the personal and professional. So my style, I'm also, I'm much better actually at like hyping my agents up than hyping me. So my focus in a consultation is much more what are the services that are being provided for the seller. It's not so much this is my bio, this is my background. And again, that's maybe because I started very young, so I kind of had to rely on that. You may want to be relying on your bio, on your history, on your 30 years of excellence. I know that Lauren in our Clarkston office, one of the things that she brings to bear with her bio is the fact that she has tremendous advertising and graphics backgrounds. So it's not even necessarily just the service that's being provided. That is kind of more about her. I was just telling Darwin, I have a 2-sentence bio. It's like, hey, I've been in the business for like 11 years. I've overseen over 1,000 transactions. Okay, cool. That's it.
And I'm going to add, how do I know what to present? It's a 3-letter word. Ask. So a big part of this is pre-qualifying. And then when do I do it? Do I pre-qualify before I even arrive? So appointment set. Do I pre-qualify while I have them on the phone, or do I pre-qualify when I get there? I will tell you, over my 39 years, look, I've done it both ways. Most of the time now, it will be a pre-qualifying prior to arriving. And the reason is that gives me the opportunity to prepare for what I'm going to have to present. And that's, again, how do I know well, how can I be the answers to someone's prayers until I know what they're praying for? That's the pre-qualifying. It's how I can determine what I need to present when I arrive. And that's why it's like, okay, what makes us different? So if we start talking tools, systems, what kind of things do you provide? Well, let's start with this way. Are you more on the electronic side or the print side, or both?
Both. But actually, to back up one more step about pre-qualification, the other thing is, especially if I'm competing, the times that I see that agents lose listings that they shouldn't are when they pre-qualified wrong. So the biggest thing I see is not asking who the decision makers are in the listing. So, hey,
and will they be there?
Yes. So, hey, I've got husband, wife, all that. Okay, well, they need to be there because it's a very easy out. I use this at Home Depot when someone comes up and says, do you want to change your cable service? I'm like, I don't know, my wife handles it. So it's an easy out to be able to say, because we don't want at the end for them to say, well, I don't know, I have to talk to so-and-so. The other thing is not understanding proper motivations and also not understanding proper personality types. So if I go into, if the wonderful Lori Jaglace wanted to list her house and called me versus Renee Voss, I'm going to have very different approaches because of very different personality types. So I also want to make sure I've done my research and I bring the type of presentation that they want to see. So to answer your, that's a long way of saying I bring much more than I think I'll need, and I only use what I do need.
So let's transition back. Bottom line is, what are the questions that you ask? Do you have a set of prepared questions to pre-qualify? If you don't, I'm going to suggest that yes, we are in promotion.
Yeah, I have.
You have, but we'll get that.
Yeah,
we're going to develop that at the listing mastery course. So that's a big key. So
shameless plug.
Let's go back. Do I use print? Do I use technology, or both?
One of the questions I actually ask in my pre-qualifying phone call is, do you tend to view things on print or on screens? So I stopped bringing an iPad. It was a little bit small, so I bring a laptop just because if you have like the big screen iPad, I think that's great. Also, what are you proficient in? Right? If you don't know
Great
how
point.
to operate that laptop or run that CMA on there, run print. I bring with me though, I have a CMA on my screen. I have a CMA in print. I have some of my print marketing materials, and I have some of my digital marketing materials, meaning my photographer's portfolio, the video, and then being able to show some of the ads that we can run that we'll talk about in a minute. So, and then now, if I know I'm dealing with an engineer or some type, maybe I'll bring a realist report or an RPR report. And if I think they're just going to want to be overrun with data, it's fairly rare, but I do bring that if necessary.
So we're also speaking competitive situation.
Mm-hmm.
Would it hurt to know who you're competing against? Ask, who's my competition? Who else are you interviewing for the job of helping you complete this move? I may need that information to prepare additional information that separates me from specifically that agent or that company.
And are they your competition? Are they thinking about going for sale by owner? Some people are afraid to ask that.
You
I
are
always
correct.
ask. But it is something, and now sometimes they won't give you the answers, and we never want to put anybody down. But for example, Carrie Gores had a situation where she was going up against an agent that she knew did a lot more, and she does a ton of production, but she was going up against someone who did a lot more production than her. But what we did is we did a production map, and guess who had sold more homes in the neighborhood, in the zip code, and guess who got the listing? Right? That really helps.
There's knowing your competition
Yes.
and a very specific, because I know that and because I know I beat them, let me prepare that information in advance.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that? Because I properly pre-qualified.
Yeah.
I've asked great questions. So one of them is when you know specifically, well, who is the competition? It might be a starting question, could be as simple as, who else are you talking with about selling the home? Which will lead to the additional questions.
What's most important to you about the agent that you sell your home with?
How will you know that you found the right agent?
Mm-hmm.
Very open-ended question. And by the way, wait for them to give you an answer, because that's a difficult one that they've not thought about and nobody else has asked.
Right.
How will you know when you found the right agent?
Another hand grenade question to ask that people are afraid to is, I see that you bought with so-and-so. Why are they not on the phone with you right now? Because that's going to give you an insight into what went wrong with their last transaction. Or did the agent just never follow up? But to get to the actual differentiation, so I think that there's a couple things. Now, I'm actually going to do this. I'm not going to do it as a package. We're going to talk about it as individual items. So for those of you who are on the blue side, a lot of this can be done through the product listing concierge. On the gold side, though, you can still piecemeal this very, very similarly for the same products. So I want to kind of go over those. There's the only real product I think that CB has that C21 doesn't. The silver mailers, I don't think C21. I'm sure they can do something similar. So what I tell them is, the reason that we're different is we have a blend of old school marketing that works, that has been around for decades, and we have new school marketing that no one's even using yet. So one of those on the blue side, it's called Home Spotter Boost. We're talking about it up here tomorrow. On both sides of the house, back at you has tremendous online advertising. Your average Zillow listing right now gets about 1,500 views. So if you can tell them, hey, I'm going to get you 10, 15x that, and clicks and buyer leads, that, by the way, you can also take the buyer leads, that alone right there is going to set you apart. Very few people are using something like that. The next thing that I talk about is professional photography and video. I don't think there's any excuse right now on a decent sized listing to not use professional photography and video. If you look at the NAR stats regarding listings with video, I think it's something like 400% higher than the listings without video. I've been asked about Matterport. I have gone away from using it. If anyone wants to chime in about that, you certainly can. What I've found is it doesn't seem to work really well on your phone, and most people are viewing these listings on their phone. And if you're like me, it kind of makes you a little woof when you're looking around.
Well, and let me jump in with that
Yeah.
because there's going to be things, gang, that it may not work, but you might do it because the seller sees value. If the seller were to see value in a Matterport, would you consider paying to have a Matterport?
It's like open houses.
Exactly.
Right.
Am I going to do an open house or am I not?
Yeah.
If I am, I'm going to sell the heck out of it because it's a great house. It should be held open. And as one, it's going to stand the opportunity to sell that house. But more importantly, because we know the numbers, I'm going to be able to find business. I'm going to find leads, both buyers and sellers, because that house is being held open.
Yeah.
So what else do we got?
The next thing I talk about is video advertising. On the CB side, you can do it through YouTube pre-roll ads and listing concierge. On the
Same.
21 side, you can probably do the same thing, or there's probably another workaround. I think you can do it through Moxie Promote. I think you can also do it through Back At You. So I don't just do web advertising. I also do video specific advertising. I think that those are a different enough thing to talk about because a lot of the web advertising, if you're doing Back At You, they're either running it on social or they're running it as banner ads, which are clickable banner ads. Not exactly the same as the video ads that you're looking at. The next thing that I do is I get in touch with especially hot houses. I call it circle prospect the agents. So for example, we had a listing that was right outside Village of Clarkston that just had 23 offers on it. Well, if I'm going and I have another listing in that neighborhood and I know that happened, I'm going to try and get a hold of some of those agents and I'm going to go in armed with the knowledge that, by the way, I know of 6 other agents who have buyers who are interested in your house already. The other thing I'll do is cold market to those agents. So if you didn't know this, you can do a map search in Real Comp and pull every single agent that's sold a property in that map search or in that whatever search that you're doing. And then I'll actually email blast to them because if they've sold houses in that neighborhood before, chances are they're going to sell it again. And what is our most powerful tool to make sure that people come see our listing? It's other agents.
So it's one of two markets. They'll look at it this way. There's the general public. That's the prospects, the suspects. But the buyers are with realtors. 85% of homes are selling because of realtors. It's our primary market.
And when they say because of that, it means that the realtor was the primary source of information, not that they just worked with an agent. There's a couple other things I do online that are a little bit niche that I don't think would be like super helpful. But then moving to some of and by the way, the goal is with this is to be able to present it in 8 to 10 minutes. We don't want to go over every single detail about how social advertising works or about how pay-per-click advertising works because they're going to get so bored they'll just want you to leave. So if we need to cover this in 8 to 10 minutes. So it's basically 7 or 8 bullet points and then we kind of move on.
And the key would be is what do I need to provide so that they can see clearly the differentiation between me and my competition. But more importantly, the value that what I'm providing. So by the way, then it's not all these things that I'm going to do to provide you with exposure, but what's the benefit of each of these features or these services that I'm providing?
Yeah, not only that, I think it's better to show than to tell. So what I'll do is I'll take a listing that I had recently, I'll show how many views it had on Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever, and then I'll show what my advertising got. The other thing that you can do is you can tell the story in reverse, right? Hey, we sold 123 Main Street by getting 5 offers. We got 5 offers by getting 25 showings. We got 25 showings by doing this, and this advertising. So we tell the story in reverse.
So much as the general knowledge that you are able to provide, just be able to show that you know what it takes to actually get a home sold.
Yeah. The other thing too is I really like print advertising. I think in like 20 years ago, everyone was getting junk mail in the mail and no one was getting email. So when you got an email, I was like, that's a big deal. Maybe it's more than 20 years ago now. And now we've flip-flopped that. I very, very rarely get any mail at my house. Other than during political campaign season. And I get 400 emails a day. So I'm actually much more likely to open a piece of physical mail than I am to, right? So I bring it with me. I bring with me, and by the way, the company is obviously covering your just listed postcards.
Mm-hmm.
On the CB side, you can do the additional silver envelope mailers. I'm bringing with me the brochures I use. I know everyone has different thoughts. I like to use big, giant, like 11 by 17 glossy bifold brochures. I give them a bunch of them to leave in the house once we've listed. And the reason that I do that, number one, they're going to probably take one to work and show it off.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, anyone that walks through that house, if they're seeing 6 houses that day, and one of them, 5 of them, they have an MLS sheet, and one of them, they have this enormous brochure, which one are they going to remember? Right? So it is a tactic to actually get the house sold.
And without saying a word, it's a point of differentiation.
Yes. Especially when it looks good.
So I think in the end, what we're saying, there is so much that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
There are the tools, there are the services. But one of the things that you kind of touched on, I should say we touched on, but you did a session on Hot Topic last year,
Yes.
statistics.
Yes. Yeah. Telling the story with numbers. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. One other thing that we do with print is on a really nice house, I'll do a neighborhood canvas where I'll flyer all the mail paper boxes, the newspaper boxes. And then I do talk about open houses a little bit, and especially if you are having successful open houses, like Sally holds tremendous open houses. I would certainly bring that up. One other point of differentiation too is in the higher price points is global luxury and fine homes in the States. They're pushing a lot more SEO behind global luxury and fine homes in the States, even than Zillow is. So if they have a property, and I think the C21 thresholds are very similar, but like so in Oakland County, I think it's 540,000. So you put that global luxury, that fine homes in the States behind it, which by the way, not to mention the power of the SEO already provided by Coldwell Banker, Century 21. You got to remember, our family of companies has 350,000 agents. We're putting more energy behind this than anybody else. I'm sorry, one other point of differentiation. From an HRC perspective, let's say that you have a $450,000 listing. HRC is putting $750 of bonus dollars behind it, approximately. Is it 750? I think I did my math right there. So for those of you guys that don't know, if you are not capped, HRC will pay you 5% more in commission to go sell one of our houses. So how do I tell a seller that? By the way, Mr. Seller, we are the only company that I know of that incentivizes monetarily to the tune of hundreds of dollars, 800 agents in the area to come look at your home.
And by the way, it's fine because we're dealing with the commission, not the compensation. So for those of you that were going, well, wait a minute, can we actually do that?
Yes,
The
we
answer
can.
is yes, because it's the company commission, not the seller or buyer paid
Right.
compensation.
Yeah, it does not cost your seller anything. By the way, it does not come out of your pocket as a listing agent. It comes out of the company cut. So I think that's another point of differentiation. And also, by the way, too, having the one other point of differentiation for those of you that sell in multiple areas. So I was in the Troy office yesterday. I was in I don't know where I've been lately. I've been all over the place. It allows you to establish neighborhood expertise no matter where you are. For example, like I can't read enough of these. Oh, Jason's on. So Jason's in Rochester. Jason had a listing out in Oxford. Well, he goes and meets with his clients and says, hey, by the way, we've got expert knowledge here because we've got an office right in Oxford here. So that footprint also, I think, is a point of differentiation as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think the next part too is your market knowledge, your ability to understand and make market shifts, and I think your ability to price properly are all differentiators as well.
Your point of presentation of price
Mhm.
is a differentiator.
Yeah.
What is my presentation? Do I have a preset binder? I should have brought mine with me today, but it's very dated. I used to do it all the time. Now I don't. Now I use the Moxie Present. I do print it out when I need to, and it's a leave behind for me.
Yep.
So they do get it in advance, but they get a printed copy also. There's so many things that you can do. I think the key is I need to be prepared, and I need to know that my entire presentation and the point of differentiation starts with, hi, my name is, or I am. Your presentation started there. What is my appearance? What is the car I'm driving up in? How did I shake their hand? Am I matching and mirroring, or as I call it, being a chameleon charisma? Am I like people? Because people like people who are like them.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that goes into a point of differentiation.
Even by the way, so I've taken to, by the way, I always ring the doorbell. I am not an early person by nature. I always ring the doorbell 5 minutes early. I always try and pull up in front of their house 10 minutes early.
I think go visit the comparables that are on the market.
Have you actually seen them? And by the way, the other thing that I do, I've added two things in, and then I have one more point of differentiation that we have to make that we've totally forgotten to talk about. That's brand new. Two things that I do. I bring out a grid line of every home that's sold in the last 2 years in the neighborhood, whether it's a comp or not. The reason I do that is because I will get this in the conversation. Well, my neighbor's house sold 6 months ago for $550, and you're telling me I'm only worth $450. And it's very easy for me to say, I'm sorry, that sold 15 months ago, and it was 800 square feet bigger and had an in-ground pool. The other thing that I will do is I will drive the neighborhood to see if there's any signs that I didn't know about or any for sale by owners I didn't know about, because that shows me that I'm the knowledge broker. By the way, do that anytime you're going to a family gathering or a party. Check the houses that are around there. Nothing will make you look like you know everything about real estate than if someone says, hey, by the way, did you know that my neighbor sold for this? And you're like, oh yeah, the one that has 4 bedrooms and a finished basement. Makes you look like you know every house on the market. One more point of differentiation that we got to talk about. This is brand new. For those of you who were on the CB side, it used to be called Revitalize. This is new for the C21 size.
You got to lean this way.
Oh, is it okay that we talk about this?
I would.
I think it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's total. For both brands, this is exciting.
So it's called Notable Concierge. And what this is going to do, we're not going to share all the details about it right now because I don't know if they're all public yet. But it's basically a product that will allow your homeowners to have a payback at closing loan to improve their home.
Think of it this way. Have you ever had a seller who needed to make improvements, and if they did, would actually make money by doing those improvements, but they couldn't do it because they didn't have the money?
Right. So this is going to be, it's up to $50,000. For those of you who are on the CB side, it is not tied to commission amount. That made some, and again, for those who are on the CB side, it doesn't have the tie to Angie's List, which means it's a lot easier to get contractors. So I wanted to kind of tease that out. I'm sure we'll talk about it more once we've got fleshed out details at the Listing Mastery. But that is something that, again, I don't believe, as far as I'm aware, I don't believe anyone has anything like that.
So it's coming. It's one of the benefits that Compass, with their merger with Anywhere, has brought to their brands, of which both of us are benefiting from. So that's huge. Well, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions at this point. What might you have? What thoughts? Either side of the table, anything that you got?
This is a bit of a question and a suggestion. I like what you guys are talking about with the listing presentation and stuff. If you guys have like maybe an updated, let's just say, I don't want to say script, but maybe like a bullet point instruction list of what to do from the call on the presentation, how to keep it to the 8 points, how to keep it under 10 minutes, sample material, stuff like that. I think things like that would kind of help a little bit more. That way, like, let's say if somebody's getting like one of their first or second listings in a special area, that kind of presentation can help them stand out in front of people. Sometimes you are also going to listings. So that's like a suggestion. My question is sometimes we go to listings and it's in a brand new neighborhood or a neighborhood that we haven't sold in a very long time. Where basically we don't look like the ones that are stronger in that market. What key points would you suggest to somebody to make themselves look
Gotta put
better
that one in.
So
against
that
somebody who's
that one is the easier question to answer. So what you can do, by the way, is if you search any office ID number, and you can actually search multiple of them. So I actually have a list of every HRC office ID, and I have a search that I can run, and then I can actually take that map with me. So it's not just the listings that I've sold, it's the listings that we've sold. That makes that a lot easier.
gotcha. Yeah.
And that physical to show that is huge.
Yes.
So that's a big one. Overall, I would just tell you, look, there's the business development series. And business development, are we covering the basics? I would very much say yes.
Yeah.
But if you have these questions, I would very much suggest that you attend the BDS. Now, the other obvious is that when it comes to the listing mastery, I hope you've all heard of it. I'll get more out on it later, but it is simply about taking listings. That's what it's about. How do you start? Well, you got to set appointments. So we're going to talk about that. But one of the big ones is there's going to be a session on point of differentiation. And Peter's going to be on this panel, but we're also going to have Sally Hendricks. And if I'm right, Miss Karen Greenwood out of our Birmingham office is going to join us on this. So she'll be bringing a whole lot of this point of differentiation. Bottom line is that if we don't have the answers, then we need the education. And that's where the time investment to learn what I don't know. And we've all heard it. We don't know what we don't know until we've learned that we don't know. And that's where it has to start, is with that awareness. You've kind of jumped to that. And what I would tell you is there's so much more. And with this listing mastery, there's going to be top producers who are going to come in and share what they do, experts within the specific areas of what they deal in.
And David, what office are you in? You got a couple chats.
I'm at Century 21 in Troy.
Okay. I also would, so I would start with the C21 Moxie Present. Actually, if you look at, it starts kind of in, if I'm remembering their structure right, their marketing portion, I think, is about in the middle of it, and actually almost gives you talking points based on the slides. So it talks about the certain things that you should talk about. Have David go through it with you. I don't remember the exact page numbers, but Moxie does give you a pretty good outline of that. And if you have any specific questions, reach out to me. I'm easy to find. Reach out to me personally.
Karen here, can we map both the listing and the selling side on the same page?
Um,
Because we're dealing with, in this case, real
Yes.
comp, right?
yes, you
I think you
tentatively,
can,
yes.
because you can
Yeah, 'cause you
search
can do
by
sell
listing
side
side
offers.
and
Yeah.
sell side.
Yeah, technically. And by the way, that takes a minute to set up, but it's worth doing. But yes, you can.
And Don, you asked, any thoughts on the pre-listing package? I'm going to simplify it for now this way, but again, listing mastery, and I know BDS is difficult for you, but the listing mastery, I'm going to address it, and it's going to be this way, the big picture. If you were a seller, what do you want to know? What do you need to know to be able to make a decision? Now, here's what I'm going to give you. One, the brand. Who's the brand? Two, who's the company? Three, who are you? Number four, what are you going to do to sell my house? And number five, money. look at those 5 components, and you should build your pre-listing package off of that. We are going to have a specific section in Listing Mastery where we're going to cover what goes in that. And hopefully I'll have panel members who actually do this. And if not, we're going to have a large group discussion. I know I could say it. Group discussion that will come up with all of the possibilities that you could put into it.
And I would take a fork in the other direction of I did use a pre-listing for a while. I don't anymore. And the main reason for it is not because I don't necessarily see value in it. A lot of it is when I'm setting a listing appointment, what I've learned is the further out the appointment is, the less likely they are to keep it. So I try and set appointments really, really tight to where so if I had a so for example, I had a conversation with a seller today, I'm meeting them tomorrow at noon. So a lot of times it's just an element of time that I just can't get it to them fast enough. Or if I do get it to them, they're not going to necessarily have time to go through it. So it's not that I don't necessarily believe in it. It's just
what's
a function of,
back to what one word that you've been using a lot in our pre-discussion.
Yeah.
Situational.
Yes.
But how do I know?
Right.
I've got to ask great questions. So in here, guys, what's the simplest tool that you've got that will answer those 5 things? What are they? What is it? Moxie.
Yeah.
It's already there. If you have nothing, Moxie's beautiful, but there's so much more that you could build toward an actual presentation. But think Moxie.
I'd also say if you want a great place to start on the pre-listing conversation, if you'd like it, reach out to me, is the Ninja pre-listing. I know a lot of you guys have taken that class. The Ninja pre-listing consult is it's like a 10-minute conversation.
You know what else they could do? The BDS.
Yes.
You want to know what else you could do? Here, Holly, I'm going to answer your question now. Come to Listing Mastery.
Yeah.
Guys, this is not going to be a whole lot of us telling you what to do. There's going to be top experts that are going to go through and share with you what they do on the subject of all of these things, to where you can come up with what your list of questions are that you're going to pre-qualify.
And it'll also be a lot of you guys doing. So you will actually do a pre-listing conversation with each other. You'll do some objection role play. You'll do some of that. There's a certain value in you guys sitting here listening to us. There's a very different value in you workshopping with fellow agents who are out there doing, and not that Darwin and I aren't out there doing it, because we are, but workshopping and contributing. And actually, for me, I can watch a video on something a million times, but until I go do it, I haven't really learned it. I haven't internalized it. And until I've done it many times, I haven't done that. So
the Listing Mastery, it's on May 5th, May 6th. It is a 2-day course. It is 9 to 4. May 5th, May 6th, that's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. If you got sales meetings, cancel them.
I'm there, dude.
This is more important. 9 to 4, it will be in Grand Blanc. We are going to be at Warwick Hills Golf and Country Club.
Oh, nice.
We will have refreshments for you, but you will go out. You're going to have 1 hour for lunch on your own, leaving somewhere around noon. We'll have 1 hour and then we'll reconvene. So guys, really what we have is about 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. We're going to take you through all of what you need to get to the point to where you can walk out the door with a signed listing contract, regardless of the source that it came from.
And this would be a great time, just because you've got a couple weeks from now till then, look at your listing business and see where is my sticky points. Is it that I'm not setting enough listing appointments? Is that I'm not talking enough people to set listing appointments? Is that I'm going on listing appointments, but they're not signing with me? Is that I'm not selling my listings? Look at what's happened over the last couple of years in your business and try and figure that out. What step problem do you have? Because what we're going to be able to do is identify, diagnose, and solve those for you. We're really going to help you solve them.
This is about building the skills necessary to be able to take 3 listings in 30 days after the end of the course.
Yep.
That's what we're going to really focus on. So that is going to start with building business, prospecting, lead generation. I have an appointment. Now what happens? What do I do when I get there? How do I present in such a way that I create value in that when I walk out, I'm either walking out with the listing or I'm walking out without it. And if I walked out without it, it's because I didn't want it.
Yeah.
That's a great position to be in a wonderful way to end it. So,
And not
final
only
thought?
yeah, not only that you walk out with a listing, you walk out with an appropriately priced and appropriately compensated listing.
Don't give away your commission, your compensation. Guys, we're going to leave it from there. Watch for a video, watch for the promotional pieces. You should see them in your offices. Check with your branch manager to be able to get signed up for that course. And if you have any questions, I'm going to hang out here for a little bit with this guy if he's got it. But we'll officially end it and say we'll see you guys next week. If you guys got anything still, go ahead. We'll throw out what we can.
When is the revitalizing program going to start?
Oh, when's that? Is it the
I think they
15th?
I think they technically have rolled it out, but we're waiting for some details.
The 15th rings a bell in my head.
Hang on.
Now, either it was or it will be.
Yeah, I think it's a will be. We're waiting for I know Jeremy was waiting for something. We'll pass. I might have. Was that Holly that asked that?
Yeah.
Yes, it was me.
Holly, I think we're going to talk about that more tomorrow
Tomorrow? Okay. Thank you.
at the sales meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. So just look for that, or even go into either 21 Online or my CB desk.
Yeah. No, it started April 15th.
It was April 15th.
Yep.
So it's
So that's
available
nice.
right now. And it's a much easier, much simpler program all the way through, beginning to end, on how it operates. And it's not even, the old program was kind of tied to your compensation.
Yes.
It's not any longer.
Yeah. There's about 5 minutes that will answer a lot of your questions about it tomorrow, Holly. Yeah.
All right, gang. That looks like it's it. So hope you have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.